Hi everyone, welcome again to another flexible Facebook Live. So for those of you that don't know us, we're a lead generation agency based out of the south of England, and we also teach agencies how to build a pay per lead agency as opposed to the old retainer style model. And a part of what we have is a free Facebook group called the Pay Per Lead Ninjas. If you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. We've just started promoting our content a lot more there. There's some really good stuff, and I posted there yesterday evening UK time and asked for people to just ask any questions they've got about the Pay Per Lead model, and I'd pick one and do a quick video on it. And I guess here I am. Doing a Facebook Live and answering a question. The guy's name has just slipped my mind, but I'll find it and I'll put it into the Ninjas group for you guys to all see. But anyway, the question was, Dan, if you had your time again and you were starting out from scratch, what are the 5 things that you wish you knew about creating and running a profitable pay per lead agency? And I thought that was a brilliant question, and it got me thinking about, what I was doing back in the day when I landed my first client and I started delivering leads. And it's a long journey, and you learn a lot along the way. So I thought this was a really good question, and I'm going to briefly run through the 5 things, and I hope you find it enjoyable. If you've got any questions below this Facebook Live, then type them in and I'll be happy to answer them all personally. So yeah, here we go. So 5 things I wish you knew about pay per lead. Okay, the first and most important one, and this may surprise you, is that client relationships are everything. Okay, if you are selling leads to a company and they don't like you, then they're going to stop buying from you if there's a dip off in quality or things aren't working very well, if you haven't made the time to develop and build that relationship. Because in most cases, the clients that you work with are kind of almost as blind as you are when it comes to buying leads and figuring out the quality. They want it to work more than you, because you have 5 or 6 different industries that you could go after and try and make this model work. They only have one business. They need to make it work. They need to find an amazing partner on board. So if you go out of your way to help them and show them that you care and show them that you want to make it work as much as they do, then that goes a long way. And I think that's been one of the biggest wins for me. And I'm still working with people I began working with almost 5 years ago, and that's because I made the time to go up and see them. We went out for dinner, we had a few beers. That is what's key. All right, work on that client relationship and you'll be off to a good start. And the second thing is, do not diversify until you're ready. So whether this be going into new industries or verticals or trying new ad networks, don't do it until you've got absolutely everything nailed. All the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, okay? You do not want to try and master something else if you haven't quite mastered the vertical that you're in or the ad network that you're in. A big mistake that I made is we were doing well in a vertical. We tried to go after 5 or 6 at one time. I spoke to my team and said, right, we're going to send letters out. We can get new clients in these industries. It's going to be easy. We've had so much success. This is just going to be easy to duplicate over and over and over again. But it didn't work out that way. What I realized is that I could build a lead generation site in the vertical it was working, build that brand, and then distribute the leads to 7 or 8 clients from that one brand. So we had one advertising account. We had one lead generation funnel, and we had all these clients being serviced from that one funnel, okay? And when each of these clients is like in another industry, so you don't even need to go into all of these other spaces and ad networks or whatever to make this work at a very profitable level, and that was a big lesson for me. Second thing is contact rate is most important. So a lot of the lead gen industries that we're in, or you are probably going to be looking at getting into, Industries where the clients, the companies used to buy a lot of data, okay? So they would buy 100,000 lines of data with name, email addresses and phone number, and they would get a call center out there in South Africa or somewhere in the Philippines, and they would just work through that 100,000 people, bang, 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 and just do nothing but that. And this, believe it or not, is the cheapest way to get business, and it still is today. But the problem is that everything GDPR and all these rules that are coming in and the policies means that these companies can't do that anymore, okay? So when they start working web leads as opposed to phoning all of this data, they're just amazed with how good a quality these leads are as opposed to what they were doing before. So basically, if they'll get these people on the phone, they're so good, they will close them into whatever product or service they are selling. So the most important thing and the number one metric you have to talk about with your clients is the contact rate. You sell them 100 leads, Mr. Client, how many of those did you get in contact with? If it's below 50%, maybe a little bit of a problem there. If it's above 50%, then usually that's pretty good. And a lot of that comes down to the dialers and the systems that your clients have in place. If they don't have these in place, then they'll start blaming your leads. And if they do have these amazing follow-up systems in place, then if the leads aren't working, then it probably is your leads. So it's always a good question and a conversation to have with your clients about contact rate. Number 4, creative is king, okay? We're a cost per lead agency. We generate the leads for 15 bucks, we sell them for 30 bucks plus, okay? That's what we do. If your cost per lead gets above that $15 level and starts creeping towards that $30 level, you don't have a business anymore, okay? This is a higher risk, higher reward game, okay? You don't want to be losing money when you're generating leads because that's not good for anyone, okay? You're going to go out of business. So what is the best way to combat this cost per lead problem that you might experience over time? It's by writing more ads, coming up with new angles, new hooks, refreshing your creatives on a weekly basis at the very minimum. And we've seen this over and over and over again, okay? It's not some fancy ClickFunnels funnel or some amazing bit of copywriting within your funnel or anything else that's not related to a creative, okay? Or retargeting lists or whatever it is, okay? That's not going to save you. What's going to save you is writing new ads with better copy, better creative, better hooks, better images, long copy versus short copy. Whatever it is that you need to do, you should be thinking outside of the box and doing this on a weekly basis. We use some great tools to reverse engineer competitors. Genius.xyz is a really good one. At Espresso used to have an ads university. I think that's gone now, and Facebook now has their tool where they can where you can see the ads from any fan page that you would like. So I'm not a trained copywriter. Some of you guys might have seen my copy that I've written. I wouldn't say it's particularly amazing, but what I would say is that I'm very good at kind of understanding the markets that I'm going into, which is 90% of the problem when it comes to copywriting, 90% of the thing that you have to get right. So, the other 10% can be reverse engineering competitors and getting ideas from them, which I love doing, all right? And that all comes under, creative is king banner, okay? The last thing is everything will be okay. And I see this a lot in my mastermind group. We have close to 200 people in there now, and there's probably 25% of them are running ads, and they'll come to me and they'll be like, yeah, Dan, this is awesome. We're killing it this week and everything's good. And then the next week, oh no, the Facebook algorithm's changed. Our cost per lead has doubled. What's going on, Dan? What's going on? What can I do? Is there a problem with the algorithm? Is there a problem with, everything to do with their agency? Are they running their business wrong? Are they going after the wrong vertical? All of these questions are on the tips of their tongue, and they're struggling sometimes, okay? But what you'll find is that the cost per lead sometimes does vary. It does go up and down. There's more expensive times of year. There is, more expensive times of the year. For right now, for example, in the UK, it's 32, 33 degrees, which is unheard of. It means that it affects your cost per lead. It affects the contact rates of your lead. It affects a lot of different stuff. This is out of your control. Things will go up and down, but when you look at things over a longer period of time, you'll see that those ups and downs will kind of level off to a point that you're happy with. So I was saying before, this is a high risk, high reward game. There'll be times when things are amazing and you'll be making a shitload of money one week, and then the other week it won't be as good. But if you add those two up together and average it out, things will be fine, okay? And this is more of a mindset thing. So number 5, everything will be okay, all right? So that's the 5 things I wish I knew about PPL, the pay per lead model. If this kind of rings true, if you can relate to this, if you're looking to get into the lead gen game on a pay per lead model basis, then we'll post a link under this video with access to a call, so you can either chat to me or one of my team members and we can see whether it is a good fit for you guys. And if it is, great. If it isn't, then no harm, no foul. I'd love to speak to you all. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.